right. Let's see. Get rid of the dragon guy. Hello. How's everyone doing today? Hello, hello, hello. I wasn't going to stream today, but I managed to scrape out some carve out a little bit of time to do this before I head off to set up for this weekend's Holiday Jubilee sale at the Source Comics and Games. That should be fun. Anyway, I'm going to do some work on this this dragon piece today. I was going to do today was going to be Fan Art Friday, but I didn't have what I was going to work on prepped. So we'll come back to this piece and do some work. Just make sure everything's set here. If you can hear me and you're in the chat, please say hello. I'd love to know that my audio is working and all that good stuff. So one of the things that I wanted to do today, I'm not going to get too far into this, but personally, I did do a little bit of work on this since the last time I was streaming. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Minor things, but some things that just little touches here and there. One of them is this. Let's see. I wanted to help the sense of scale here, so I went in and put a little haze layer. You can kind of see it fully there on the more distant parts of the dragon, just a little bit to sort of give the sense that it's a little further back and that there's a scale issue going on, and it's so big that even his limbs on the other side are a little hazy. And before I go any further, well, I might do the wake there. I wanted to kind of touch on how I'm going to add some action to this scene with the use of one of my custom brushes. I created a custom bubble brush in Procreate a while back. I forget what I even needed it for, but it's come in handy. It's a really simple brush. These are the shapes, just a flat grain, and it creates a nice series of bubbles, especially when you do certain things to it after the fact. So let's just show how I'm going to do this. And these are going to help give a sense of motion and sort of action. Hello, Creating with Noah from Nashville. Hello on Instagram. The bubbles are going to help give a sense of movement to the piece, because I want it to seem like the dragon was going this way, the ship above is going that way, and I'll add a wake to it. Don't worry, that's not finished yet. Oh, but one of the things I added was sort of a little bit of sparkling waves on the surface there. But the dragon's moving this way and whips his head around to see its latest prey. And so I'm going to want to create sort of a whip. That's too small. That's a little better. Maybe a little bigger. I don't want them to be too big. Maybe go off the screen. No. There. That's better. Yeah. And the bubble brush is set for pressure sensitivity. So if you do it lighter, it'll be lighter. If you do it harder, it'll be harder. I think that's a good amount for now, right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the smudge brush, and on sort of the beginning and the end of the tails of this, I'm going to do a little smudging, kind of towards, in the line of direction. It kind of fades it off a bit. And what I might do after I do that is add some smaller bubbles, but just to give a sense of motion of the water too. I don't know if you can see that very well. Let's check. Yeah, you can kind of see it. It's not done yet, obviously. So I'm going to actually create a separate folder for the bubbles. Keep them separate from the Mr. Dragon himself. I'll just start merging down. So we also want, let's see, a series of bubbles. Oops, coming sort of straight off of him this way. Sort of a wake of bubbles. Actually, I don't like the direction. Yeah. Oh, I gotta move that. I gotta rearrange the layers. Clearly. Unfortunately, I have part of my background, or my foreground in the background, so let's fix that. I'm gonna have to really fix that, I think. Just change something real quick. Bear with me. Layer management. Sometimes not fun. So throw in those. There you go. We'll call that foreground. And then recolor this so that it matches. Where's my big brush? And there we go. Well, let's lock pixels first. So how's everybody doing today? I got a lot going on, making comics, doing the business of comics, and preparing for a store appearance. Right, that should work. All right, now we can go back to the bubbles. Go back to my bubble brush. Where's my bubble brush? It's way down here. You can see I actually, it says bubbles 2, but I created this is my first attempt, and they were just too perfect. They look too perfect. You can see well, the shape. I was just going for something, you know, sort of traditionally bubbly. It might work for something, but I really wanted something with a little more character. That's why I ended up with this one. Throwing a little smudge in there. These are the big ones. Now let's go in. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Let me add one more down here, just where his hand is. I kind of want to give the impression that that hand was moving backwards, like that's where this is the swimming hand. You know what I mean? There we go. All right, that's the first layer of bubbles. The big ones that actually, let me see. Yeah, that's fine. I'll fix that later. All right, so we'll do a secondary layer. Same bubbles, but smaller. We'll do like, it's not big enough. Still not big enough, just a little bigger. Come on, work with me here. There we go. There we go. Again, just kind of throwing some light smudging over them. Now, that's a good start for that. I might go in, well, not might, I'm most likely going to go in there and do sort of hand-painted bubbles also, so that there's some that really stand out. Got a question, creating with Noah on Instagram. Hello, what app are you using for the split screen head cam and overhead drawing cam? My streaming setup is, I'll take a little bit of a break here to explain it, is as follows. For my main camera, the overhead camera looking down on the iPad, you have an iPhone, I think it's an iPhone 8. It's an older iPhone, much older. I got it off of eBay for cheap. It's my streaming camera, and that goes through an app called Camo Studio on my Mac, which then goes into Streamlabs desktop. I have a Streamlabs streaming account, and I'm using a Brio webcam mounted on one of my desktop monitors. I have two monitors, so that's up top there looking this way, and the camera's looking down, and I have it all set up in Streamlabs, split up like that. Hope that answers your question. Go back here. Okay, now I'm gonna do a little, let's fix up the ship. I want to get rid of these lines. I don't want that. That worked on the line art, but it's not going to work for my purposes here. So let's get rid of the top here. I think that's just black, but select it just to make sure. Okay, I'm going to go in and just touch this up. Just want to get a little bit more in there. I don't know why that's there. Okay. Now I'm going to go in and just add a lot here, because I'm going to chip away at it with a textured brush. And I'm also going to color the line art. So color it the same color as the flats. And I'm going to drop the brightness on that down, so it's not pure black anymore. It's the same color but a little less. It gives us kind of a subtle color line look. There, that's better. I might do a little bit of the ship up top seeing through the water, but I want to do the wake first. Paint the wake on first. And that way I'll know where to paint in the above the water ship parts. Creating with No on Instagram says, thank you. Is the iPad your main production tool, and did you use it on your Oz title from Image? Yep, I do everything on the iPad. Everything. Even lettering. Even lettering for my comics are done in Procreate on the iPad. I don't use Photoshop. I don't even have a Wacom Cintiq anymore. I got rid of that. Well, it died on me. I got rid of it. But I've been using the iPad and Procreate long before it died, so I didn't really care. But yeah, I've been using Procreate for years now, maybe 5 or 6 years for everything. So there you go. All right, creating a new layer. Now I have. Where's the rough? I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna duplicate my old line art layer. Bring it up here. So I can see where I painted the wake in the old version. And I'm actually gonna throw there. Now it'll be easier to see when I paint it. I do this once in a while. Create a layer with white. Use it and put it at different opacities depending on my needs. But I call it a scrim. It's a theater term. You can see through it, but anyway. Let's see what brush. I think I wanted to use. I wanted to try wet paintbrush to paint the wake, and I'm going to use this is a guide, but I kind of like that. Oh boy, that's gonna work. I'm doing it in black so I can see it. I'll lighten it up later, but it's just easier to paint this now in black, just so I can see it really well. Oh, jeez. There I go again, painting on the wrong layer. Man. I think one of the problems with doing the live streams when I do this, I'm so sorry about that, I'll do this really quickly, is like it takes up just a little bit of my brain while I'm working, and sometimes that little bit is all about layer management. I don't know how that ends up being that way, but it does. But there we go, we're back to work. And I want this to kind of look, rough, not perfect. So, whoops. So going in, erase away from it using the same brush. Yeah, I think that's going to work. The fact that it's wet brush just makes all the sense in the world, doesn't it? Creating with No on Instagram says, have you messed around with Procreate Dreams at all? Yes, I have. If you look back through my feed on Instagram, you'll see that I played around with it a lot right when it came out last year. And I do intend to do to add some animation stuff to my my streams. I was actually looking through my animation stack today before coming on here and thinking, I should. I had a bunch of sketches and ideas kind of planned out for little animations that I could play with. Because I love animating. Working on the Oz book has taken all of my time in the last few months, and that's one reason why I had to stop streaming. Getting a series on its feet, even from Image, where it's it's a creator-owned thing. The creators still have a lot to do with the publishing schedule and all that stuff. So, I have to have 5 covers finished in advance so that I'm always ready to solicit an issue that's coming out well in the future. But I do like doing that, actually, with a comic series. I learned that I like doing that when I was working on Oddly Normal for Image, the first Oddly Normal issues, and I have to do these covers ahead of time. And having the covers already done, it gave me this, not complete, but a little bit of a guide to how the series was going to look moving forward. But also just seeing those covers created made it feel real. It made I need a smaller version of this brush. It made it feel real, and I used it to kind of spur me on. It's really helpful seeing, you put together the cover, you put together the title treatment. Man, I really need a smaller version of this. I wonder if I can quickly create that. Where's the size? Is it this? There. Move that down. Let's see if I can get a smaller brush going. Oh, that didn't do it. I do not know much about brush creation. I know kind of just enough. I'll have to figure that out later. We'll go back to the main one. Or I'll just find another brush to chip away at it. You can kind of see where I'm going with this. In the original inked line art, it's a combination of, just not inking certain areas, and then also white gel pen and opaque, or what's it called? It's a certain kind of paint that I use, white paint, that I've come to like. It works well with brushes. There we go. I'll go and probably paint more details to that, but all right. It's gonna need some work. It's really rough. I wanted it to be rough, but now it looks too rough. Oh, I know. I probably looks. Turn that off. Yeah, that needs some work. It's not what I was thinking. Also, I need to erase some of. These don't work. The little reflective bits don't work in the wake areas, so let's just get rid of those. Doesn't look as good now, and I don't know why. I may have to play with that a while. Yeah, let me find out. This might be good for. I'm gonna go back to the wake layer. Here it is. I'm gonna duplicate it, kind of keep, and then work on it on its own, while keeping sort of a safety backup layer. Well, this is kind of working. Oh, actually that's weird. I accidentally started painting with the old brush, and it's almost like smudging instead. That's interesting. Not erasing. It's really strange. Oh, that's why. I am so smart. Alright, let's try this again. I am so sorry for the layer mismanagement. Jeez. There we go. Okay. It was acting that way because I was painting with black onto a layer set to add mode. It was doing weird things. Sometimes that kind of thing can lead to, not to be too Bob Ross about it, but happy little accidents where when you start playing around with layer modes, you screw things up, but they end up actually providing you with a good result. This is working. I like the old brush texture. Really helps with the streak look. What I'm doing right now is I'm just using this brush, the old brush, and I think that's a native Procreate brush. I've just copied it into a brush set called my paint set, and it's basically just brushes that I found that I like for more painterly stuff. So I'm just using that right now as an eraser. To give the wake lines a little more character. Turn off that light there, it's bugging me. Now I'm just going to use a soft eraser to sort of fade it back. It's so light right there. That's weird. Let me see what happens if I throw just a slight motion blur on it. Oh, that's too much. There we go. Starting to come together. Boy, it looks so bright on the video. I'm so sorry for, like, sometimes when I shift it or when I zoom in and out, it looks really bright. Creating with Noah asked, do you still work on any Star Wars stuff? Yeah, the last 2 days on my stream I did Jawa stuff. I don't know if you mean, do I actually, get paid to do it? Because that would be no. Just getting some of the detail work on the wake. It's not quite looking the way I imagined it, so this might be a case where I have to step away from it and come back to it. Oh, come on. M4U Art on Instagram says, love this. Thank you so much. M4U Art. Check my other streams. All right. So that's I'll leave that be for a minute. Get rid of that. All right. Let's go in. Add some highlights. I'm not sure what brush I want to use for this. I should probably use the same brush that I shaded with. So. Change this to do more highlights on other areas, but I'm probably going to erase a little bit of them to fade them back because I don't want. I want the main highlight to be on the face, or the strongest highlight, I should say, to be on there. Or maybe I'll just duplicate that. Yeah, I like highlighting with this because it's got a little bit of grit to it. the same brush I used to shade. So you can kind of see it. You know, it's not perfect. I like that sort of implies, you know, that there's maybe some texturing on the guy, you know, like scales or something. Trying to find where the light's gonna hit it. Put a little bit of highlight there. Before I head off, time flies. Sorry, already 40 minutes in. Before I head off, maybe I'll jump into my a stack that has some of my animation ideas and show some of the things that I might, you know, jump into here and there on the stream. So I do love working in Procreate Dreams. It's so much fun. I didn't have much time to really play. I wish I had more time. So you might see some of that. Give a little bit of rim lighting here. I'll erase that pretty heavily there. Just a little hint that maybe the ocean floor is giving it a little bounce. Bounce light. I should finish my sentences. Wouldn't that be helpful? There we go. Now, I think one of the things that this is missing is a little bit, I don't know. I need to figure out why the wake isn't working for me. But that's, you know, that's one of those things where, like I've said before, step away from it. You'll figure it out when you come back to it, probably. I wonder if... throw in a really saturated... where is that? Really saturated blue. Set the overlay right over the wake. Would make it feel... I don't know. We'll give it a try. It's one of those things where we're like, oh, you know, let's try this and see what happens. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's doing nothing. Maybe try drag it up and over the other colors. Well, still not great, but it does set it apart a little bit. Like there's some, like the waves are causing a bit of a color variation, you know. So that might work. I just don't want it going too far down or too far over here. Kind of like it. I had previously turned off the, I had these lights in here, but they don't really work anymore. I think I need them. I need to repaint them. Yeah, I'm just going to repaint them. I think they need to be smaller and more focused. Where's my... There we go. Let's grab that old paintbrush again. No, actually, let's use this brush. Like this. Well, yeah, like that. Why is this not working for me? I think I'm really going to need to play with this because these are just not working for me. It's a little better. Where's my bubbles? There, that's better. I just had a thought. And you're like, yeah, we know. You keep talking. What if... I'll get rid of that. What if I'm thinking about this all wrong? Where is my wake? There it is. Yeah, I did. I was thinking backwards. I think think that solved my problem. Yep. The wake needed to be dark, not light. Because if it's dark, the light will... Yep. That was the problem. That fixed it completely right there. I mean, not completely. I still need to do some work on it. It's still not what I was hoping for. Let's erase some of that. But it's better than what I had before, that's for sure. So basically I just changed the layer mode to multiply, colored it kind of bluish green. There we go. Now if I want, I can go in and like add a little lightness to the in-betweens. And I need to fix some of this. It just doesn't look right to me. Are you enjoying watching my, I don't know, I feel like sometimes this is like watching artist therapy, when they talk to themselves and try to convince themselves that something's working when it's not, or saying that something isn't working when it is. You ever get that impression? I don't know. I think it's just me. I feel like maybe I went too green on it. Trial and error. If I had more skills, it would be less error. Probably going to want to go in and change the color actually, or at least, yeah, color the ship a little bit more so it stands out. It wouldn't be pure blue like that. I mean, I'd want it to stand out. Let's give it a little bit of a warmer color, not too much. Same with the dragon isn't like, hey Molly, how you doing? I see you. Don't know. What am I missing? Let's go back here. That'll work. Just trying to frame the subjects a little bit with some there. Turn it down. Hey there yourself. Yes, you should be working. So should I. This isn't really work. This is actually me taking a break from work to jump on and stream this. Because this is just for fun. Ooh, sorry, bounced the camera there. Yeah, this is just playtime. And this is actually this is the stuff I should be doing on my own. Like, just wandering around going, oh, if I change this, what if I change that? Where'd it go? There it is. One more thing before I jump into the animation folder like I promised. Where's my... I got this brush called Star Maker. I forget where forget where it's from. Is that enough? Yeah. It might be a native Procreate brush. Molly says, I miss watching you draw. It's been a long time. Oh, thanks, Molly. Yeah, I used to be around in the Ustream days. I'm basically just going to throw a layer of mist across the entire thing. Let's drag this up, though. Come on, there we go. Drag that up above everything. Change it to add. There. Now there's little specks. Silt everywhere. Did I get everywhere? Did not get one place I didn't get was foreground, but we're going to do that separately. Do that again, just a little bigger. The foreground gets its own layer of silt. There we go. All right, I think that's all for this one today. I mean, there's not too much more to do, and this is just a piece for play, so I'm not going to sit here and worry too much about it. But I wish I could really show what this looks like. Oh, it looks more saturated and vibrant looking at it on the video down here. It is it's more a little more muted, and I don't know. Sometimes I look at what I'm working on video and I go, oh, that looks better. I should change it to that. All right, so that's enough for dragons. I'm just going to jump in real quick to, like I said, my animation folder. A while back, one thing I've wanted to do for many years is to participate in, I think it's called the 11 Second Club. It's this monthly challenge for animators to animate a clip of audio in any way you want. And I did that. This was a fun challenge. I animated the cat talking. But I've had various ideas that have never really come to fruition. I was thinking about maybe animating this. This is actually an interesting piece because the original composition for this is more square like this. And if you can believe it, I used this to test out the AI functions in Photoshop on the iPad. You know, the content aware, cropping. So I basically recropped it out and did a content aware fill, and it added in the stuff, and it's crazy how it added in that looks just like what I'd already done. This is not the kind of thing that I want to do with AI, but it was a test and it was a lot of fun. Just to see where it would come. I've always said that if I could train an AI to only use my work for generation purposes, I might use it to make comics if it was just trained on my artwork. Because comic production, would make things so much simpler in many ways, moving the production forward. But it looks really dark in the video. Sorry about that, but it is what it is. Anyway, let's see. Let me show. These are files in Procreate that have the artwork for things that I animated in Procreate Dreams. I animated like this piece. Where is it? And I made this piece. You can find that in my Instagram feed. That was the first, big one I did. I did it for last Christmas. That said, so here's one that I think I might tackle this one next, and I know you really can't tell what's going on here. It's kind of weird. But it's going to be like this interior of, a flying car kind of thing, Blade Runner-ish. And the pilot's there. He's got a little bobble doll on the dashboard. And through the windows you can see, a Blade Runner-esque cityscape flying by. Maybe it's raining and I can animate the streaks. But I have the basic, I have the flats for the car down. Let me turn all this off. You can see a little better. And I have my perspective grid on. But you can kind of see what I'm going for here. And I have things separated out, in the sketch phase, so I knew that which parts needed to be a little different. There wouldn't be a lot of character animation. The bobble doll would bobble. Maybe his hand on the controls would move a little bit, and he'd blink. Most of it would be the background moving. But I thought it'd be a fun piece to finish up with the backgrounds, interiors being painted, animation background style. Might be a fun piece to work on. So I think that might be what, if I do one that, I'll turn my drawing guide back on, might be what I'll jump into. I had a similar idea. I can't really see this, but it's like it's like a subway car. You really can't see it there. Let me turn this back on. It's a subway car in a futuristic city, same concept, with stuff flying by, traffic and stuff. And there's one really tough guy in the subway car with his dog, and everybody else, all the aliens, are cowering on the other side of the subway car. I thought that might be fun too. I'm not really trying to do really complex animation when I do these things. It's just for fun, to get an idea out of my head. I am taking, what's his name? Nikolai Lockerston. I think that's his name. Nikolai Lockerston. You should look him up on Instagram. But he's got a new Procreate Dreams animation course. I'm taking that. His work is phenomenal. Well worth it. Seek it out. Nikolai Lockerston, I think it is. You'll figure it out. But he does really great Procreate Dreams animations. He actually did some of the animations for the Procreate team to debut the software. That's another one. I was trying to think of things that I could do limited, and this was, you can kind of see the rough sketch. I was going to, I did these illustrations called Dogs of War a while back with dogs in World War II, and I did this sketch when I was watching Masters of the Air. I thought it'd be a cool shot, starting on a bunch of like B-2 bombers going through the sky and kind of pulling back, and you pull through the glass, and then you pull back and you see one of the pilots. And I thought that'd be a kind of a fun thing to animate, with flak going off and stuff like that. Otherwise, nothing too complex in the ideas I had. Here's one that I was going to do. You'd see I was going to animate this character jumping on the moon, in gravity, and then eventually gets shot. Silly stuff like this that I have. I just got this kind of stuff in my sketchbook. And then this one was going to be like maybe a girl reading a tablet with a cat in a futuristic city, and I think I was about to start inking these up to use as like ships that pass by. That's pretty much it. These are all just bits and pieces from my. Oh, and I'll show you this last one. So this I've been thinking about animating for a while. This is actually a very high-res photo of a painting my grandmother did many, many years ago. Probably, I think before I was born, because I always remember this hanging in her house. She painted for fun. It wasn't a professional, but I took a photo of it. I got created a frame and a wall, and I was thinking of animating like a sea creature coming in here, and the guys in the boats turn to look at him, and he just kind of goes down to the ocean. And I thought it'd be fun, like a fun collaboration between me and my late grandmother, across time and through different mediums. I thought that'd be kind of fun. I've never gotten to it, but it's sitting here waiting to be used, and I think that'd be a fun exercise. All right, so that's it for today. I'm going to be back. On Monday for the regular schedule. You can go to otisframpton.com and click on live stream to see my current schedule. Always subject to change, but I hope to jump in here at 2 p.m. Central on weekdays to do some work and talk about Procreate and comics and stuff like that. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you on Monday.